So it's just live now, yeah.
Hello, welcome to the final word. Wolverhampton Wanderers 3, Everton 0. A horrific end to what has been a horrible year for Everton 2023. But I am delighted to say I'm joined in the studio by Keith Mullen and David Feely. It's been a while, but I'm delighted the lads are back. They were both at Molyneux yesterday. Yeah, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it.
Yeah.
We'll go deeper into the game in a minute, but just brief overview of yesterday. To me, was one of the worst performances under Sean Dyche, I think, yesterday.
Yeah.
But also a little bit of context to it. 3 games in a week, threadbare squad. They look tired. I'll be honest, I've thought we've looked knackered since the Fulham game in the cup. We've looked like we're running on a little bit of empty, and when you take the Corey out, and we have a little bit of an issue. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
But I mean, they certainly weren't first to the ball on anything yesterday, do you know what I mean? And the pressing had gone. I don't think the system was the right system, but I think where we were standing after 20 minutes, everyone in the ground was everyone in the Everton section was saying it needs to change the system, you know what I mean? So I agree with the tired thing, you know. I definitely do think that these didn't look at the races at all, in any way, shape or form, you know. And they kind of just we couldn't get the ball out our midfield, really, you know. And on the rare occasion when we did get forward, we need 6 or 7, 8 chances to get 1 or 2 goals. Sometimes, don't we? Do you know what I mean? And so
most weeks,
we didn't make enough chances, and ultimately to kind of to make that difference. You know what I mean?
Dave?
Yeah, I've been really impressed with away from home. This season has been up to yesterday. Has been my favourite season. I do this every year, but it's been my favourite season in a long time. That would have been. We've had 7 away wins including the cup games.
Cups, yeah.
And that's. I mean, we went through Lampard and Benitez and had 2 or 3 between the two of them.
Yeah.
It's been grim. However, you're right what you said about we've hit a wall. It was always going to happen with the squad. Yeah. And losing Decore's been a massive blow. Yeah. But going back to what Keith said yesterday, away from home, apart from Villa, the first game of the season, and that was the Calvert-Lewin residue thing where he'd been out, we're terrified of losing him and playing without a striker again, and oh my God, this is all going to happen again. So there was a little bit of carryover from that. Ever since then, we've been in at least every game. For example, we also went to Tottenham the previous week. Fantastic performance. Lost the game. I didn't meet a Toffee walking out that ground who had a cob on. Everyone claps them off. Fantastic boys. Is right. Gave it everything. Nobody walked off that pitch leaving anything on it. Well, yesterday was the complete opposite. Myself, personally, I'm putting it at the manager because the system was wrong against a team who were flying, particularly at home, who like to sit right on top of you. It's like going into a boxing fight and keeping one hand behind your back. You've already handed the initiative in a team with the caveat you've just both said they're tired, they're weary, they're out on the feet. What you want to do then is take them back and get, instead of trying, at least if you don't win the game, don't lose the fucking game. And he handed that initiative. And he's right what he said. I didn't meet a Toffee in that ground who wasn't screaming to change the system after 20 minutes. We were talking off mic before about Ashley Young at Anfield. It reminded me, everyone screaming, it's not working, do it now.
Change it.
And he can be pedantic with that. And I think it came through yesterday.
We have been, even under the manager in this whole reign so far, we have been decent away there. Even last week
our
when
better performances have been away from home.
Away, he still got a steeliness into them which hasn't been there for a while. But that's the criticism of him is his subs, and sometimes he either doesn't recognise what, and I find that difficult to believe that he can't see what everyone can see. So therefore, it must be that stubbornness.
You could also be thinking there as a manager, though, couldn't you? Ever bring them on too early and they get injuries. I've got nothing to change, and there could be elements of that, you know what I mean. But also as well, I think you got to put it in context as well. I mean, I've just tweeted about the actual context. This time last year, me and him we're at main road, you know, well, not main road,
Yeah.
at the Etihad.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
main road then. At the Etihad, watching us draw with Man City, and we were still managed by Lampard then.
That
you know.
feels like 10
That
years,
feels
5 years ago.
That's what's happened.
This time last year, we were still
Crazy.
managed by
This
Lampard,
feels like a
and we
long
made up, we
time
got the
ago.
draw. Do you know what I mean?
And
So
see, what they have added in that time, I think we'd all agree with that, is the far better organised. That was the disappointing part yesterday.
Yeah.
It looked like they just met each other walking
It
out.
wasn't the same team that played
Ghana on Onana had the worst game individually and collectively that I've seen both of them play for Everton. The only time he passed backwards.
Yeah.
They never got anywhere near the tackle.
Through a couple of times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They were poor. And so you're going back to him being stubborn. Stevie Wonder could see that yesterday. So whether he's stubborn or not, he's got 3 coaches sitting on the bench with him. Go on, Gaffer. No. You pay me to advise you for this. I'm sorry. No. I was saying to these.
Let me just jump in, because we're like getting onto the game. Obviously, we lost to City the other night, and
They're better than us.
some people, I thought there was a little bit of an overreaction from some people, given that they're excellent. We're out on our feet. We haven't got our best 11. You need your best 11 and a whole world of luck to be City. I
and
think.
your best performance.
I think so, yeah.
But we come into this one, and there was talk of going to a back 3, and it might help us and all that. I mean, what did you think? Because Everton have, with the exception probably of Villa away in the Cup, which we were excellent that night.
First half, particularly.
Yeah. We seem more comfortable in a back 4. Even yesterday, when he did go to a back 4, we just looked like we had a bit more
The
of a
reason
handle on it.
we're
So what did you
comfortable-
think when you seen a back 5 yesterday?
No, the reason that is the case is because the wingers in our team are really important.
Yeah.
Really, the winger full-back dynamic on both sides. Mikalenko's been our player of the season, by the way. But that dynamic between the two, the overlapping, that's why both of those wingers start over Danjuma every single week, because they can be overlapped and then they drop in behind and they do the spade work. And that dynamic is intrinsic to allowing us to access Calvert-Lewin, which then allows us to access Doucouré as a secondary option behind Calvert-Lewin. It's the whole ethos he's built the system on. Well, by going to a back 5, you've isolated Calvert-Lewin for a start.
Yeah.
Every ball what goes near him is a long ball, because your fullbacks are dropping that deep, and the wingers are virtually touching distance in front of him, because everyone's bouncing on top of you. So every ball you kick out to Calvert-Lewin, he's up against 2 defenders. That Dawson's a yard dog.
Yeah.
He looked like Bobby Moore. Yes, he scored the goal in the end. He looked like Bobby Moore, because it doesn't matter whether it's Calvert-Lewin, Beto or whatever. It's a thankless task. The percentage, that I'm not into it, but you know, all that XG thing, if you look at the percentage of how many times you're likely to not only win a ball what's a foot above your head, bring it down, turn round, wait 50 yards while someone catches you, and then have an attempt on goal, it will be minimal. So what you've done is you basically negated your best forward option, i.e. the fullback, winger, algorithm kind of thing. You've taken it out the game. Then that puts more options on the 2 in the middle, who stunk the gaff out because they're getting overran. So every time they pick the ball, they're not even turning round trying to face the opposition.
The idea, no, I totally agree with you, mate. The idea was that he was trying to have 3 in the middle to match up there.
I think that's what
the
it
problem
was,
is that he didn't line up like that. We lined up in a 5-4-1 nearly. But so you're still a man short in the midfield anyway. So what really that system should do is almost have it should be a 5-2-3 really. So McNeil and Harrison should have been almost
around him.
They weren't. So we were a 5-4-1, and the 5-4-1 meant, like you said, we're overrun. So Patterson and Mikalenko ended up. If you look at Everton, it should be an arc.
But you should be pushing out. In order to adopt that system effectively, you need to be sitting on or near the halfway line, so that the forward horns of it, if you will, the fullback horns of it, are just inside their half, which then allows the other 2 to sit 10 yards forward. And now the wingers can get round them. We weren't. We were sitting on our own area. So the 3... what you get in that system is you get cover. In other words, you've got an extra defender for corners or anything else approaching your box. You've got, instead of 2 centre-halves, you've got 3. You're losing at the other end of the park. Well, no, because you sat that deep. Their midfielders and the fullbacks are all running past you. So you're a man short in forward, you're a man down in midfield, your wingers have been negated, and now there's 5 runners at you. So having 3 centre-halves makes no difference. So it's just not working.
You've also got to factor into all of that. You know, systems are systems, aren't they? You know, and you can sit here and we can say, this is how this system should bloody work. You've got to kind of factor it into, you know, when you were looking at them players, they didn't look the same team or the same players. They even weren't comfortable in the system.
No.
They're probably married with the fact that they look knackered. And that didn't look like the same. They were the same agency, the same intensity of the team that was playing against Tottenham.
Well, even Brantwaite, who's been excellent.
Wasn't good yesterday.
Well, it was all over. Like Tarkovsky, who I think has been a great signing for Everton, looked all over the gaff yesterday. No, as a free though, Dave, he's been excellent.
No, I know. It was a free transfer and he's played every minute since he's been here, so I'll give you that. I'm not his greatest fan, just personally, no agenda. However, I think the other thing about it is, if you get him staying on Dyche, at Tottenham, for the first time, away from home, because you could see, you could smell it, we were in this game here.
Oh, yeah.
We gave 2 goals away in the first 20 minutes.
Well, that killed us,
and could have been sent to the shop again. And I've been in that ground twice, 4 and 5-0, in the new place. It hasn't taken him 10 minutes to do that to us twice, and he could smell it in the last 10 minutes. Where he put Beto on alongside Calvert-Lewin, because in nothing else, that makes them sit back, just in case you do get behind him, because 1 goal at 2-0 brings a whole different dynamic about the place. And I thought yesterday, that was he should have brought Gomez and Beto on, at least at half-time, and just said, let's get a bit of control. We probably still get beat, but let's get a bit of control and let's just see what happens. Our crowd away from home.
Would you have put Beto with Dom?
I would have done for at least 20 minutes.
You're absolutely right. This is like Dom. I think he's 9 games without a goal. Man. He's not playing well. He's not looking sharp, and he missed the sitter yesterday.
And the other day
at 1-0.
as well,
City against City.
It's just similar chances.
But the other side, and I know, listen, we have a lot of people in the comments. He's not good enough. He's this. He's that. Whatever. Like, to me, he's a good striker. He's not a top-level striker, but he's a good centre forward. But he has to have help. You can't knock a ball up to someone who has to win the flick on and run after it. There was an example yesterday.
It doesn't work.
And it was in the second half, and we'll come back onto like the way the game chronologically developed yesterday, but they had a free kick in the second half. I think it was at 2-0. The ball come in. Jack Harrison volleyed it clear and was the first man pressing on the edge of it. He ran after his own clearance. Sprinted after his own. Too much of that goes. It happens with Dom. We knock it up, he flicks it on, and he has to turn and run after his own flick on. When the way, if you're going to be a bit direct...
it should be someone there. We were saying that.
The Corey does it.
We were saying that.
He doesn't do it brilliant. Not at home, he doesn't. He's better away doing it.
He has been.
But at home, he should think, this fella wins 60-70% of his headers. So I've just got to gamble and run beyond
but that's down.
We don't have anybody, Dave. Yesterday, we didn't have anybody within 30 yards of Dom. And you're right, that Dawson is a dog. He's 30, 311. He's been playing forever, hasn't he? But he's still a capable centre-back. You've got to make him uncomfortable. He's not uncomfortable if he's going 1v1.
How you make him uncomfortable is you turn him both ways and running back towards his own goal. That's how you do it. So you need to get bodies around the ball. It doesn't matter who's playing centre forward. That's in my opinion. I'm not slagging him for yesterday, because I just said to you before, we won 7 games away from home up till Christmas.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable it's been away from home. So I've got no complaints, and I'll write that one off the same as I wrote Villa off. The first game of the season, and you look at the bigger picture, the greater good and all that. But that was tactical. If you're going into a battle, if this was Nelson at Trafalgar, you use your weapons. It's all about, granted, you need to cover up and to soak up pressure. That's fair, that's absolutely true. But you have got, in this league, if you don't hit people when you get the chance, particularly at a ground like that, where 85% of their points in any given season come at home,
Yeah.
We had a similar performance at Nottingham Forest the other week, who are nearly identical to them in format. They stay in this league because of the points they win at home for the most part.
Yeah.
And so therefore, you go in there with a mindset saying they're going to be on top of us, but what you have to do is when you get a chance, you have to hit them hard and show them that they can't just be sitting on top of you, because if they do, you'll get behind them 2-0 and you can also defend when you get in a position like that. Well, yesterday, it was like he forgot that we had any weapons at all, in my opinion.
It's kind of that as well, but it kind of also shows you he's talking about weapons and he was talking about like Trafalgar and stuff like that. It's kind of no good if one of your best regiments missing in it. You know, when I think we missed Takore, and I think we've missed Takore because he's not kind of big. Because he's there to support Dom, you know, and that's kind of what he's doing. He's close to him.
There's an issue here though with this, with the manager and with Ian Woan and with Steve Stone. Right? No, but the issue is, I said this on my match reaction, and a few people were like, well, we need to get rid of the manager. Then, well, not quite that desperate. No, what I'm saying is, it doesn't need to be that desperate.
I want to, it would not.
No, it's not, it doesn't need to be that desperate anyway. What they have to do is, we saw this last year, it's like having the same situation twice and doing the same thing and expecting different results. We lost the Corey when he gave Harry Kane a little tap on it, and it was embarrassing.
It was,
right? And Decore went for 3 games. Everton lost all 3 games. They didn't have a clue how to play. So we had a thing of, if he lose this fella, we're in a little
so it's evident that how intrinsic.
Well, Everton have lost the 4 games he's missed. If you include the penalty shootout against Fulham. And
which again was long ball. If
we'd have had Decore, that night might have been different, because they were dreadful that night as well, Fulham. But we've lost the best way to put it is the 4 games we haven't had them, because he went off at half time at Burnley. We were 2-0 up. We've not won a game, and we've not looked. Spurs was a little bit different, but we still started the game in the dressing room. We were 2-0 down, and could have been. Brennan Johnson's missed an open goal.
Yeah, absolutely did.
Should have been 3-0. But then we got hold of it. But I think what the manager hasn't been able to do, and it isn't easy, because we don't have anyone like the core.
No, we don't. No.
So what I've said is he's had to make a decision in some of these games. If you're playing 3 at the back, then why not start with 2 up front then and go, tell you what, lads, Mr. Midfield, these want the midfield, Mr. Midfield. Let's knock it to Dom and get Beto backing in. The other night against City, with 2-1 down, that Akanji has hated Beto all night. He's hated him because he's horrible to play against. Dom stripped at 1-1. Right? They score, so it's 2-1. So the manager should have gone, right, forget what I was going to do. Let's throw Dom alongside Beto.
Maguire, he's the ideal fella. He's got nothing. He's got no pace. He's not great on the ball. You get Beto to get in his face, and it gives Calvert-Lewin
a bit of
space to run off.
Or you say to Beto, when Dom jumps, running behind.
Absolutely.
Running behind.
So what it is,
so
it's at least, and shake it up. It may not work. I'm not trying to say this is a perfect solution. It may not very well work. But at least it keeps them guessing.
Well, we've tried Dan Juma there. He played, if you remember, Burnley in the cup. And he was, he just didn't work. And the disappointing thing with him is it should. Because he should be someone who gets it. No, I'm just saying it should have. He's tried Jack Harrison. It's okay. But you still need to have everything else. But then you lose the right side if Jack's not there. Dan Juma, we've established, can't come in. Ashley Young, maybe if Ashley Young was fit, Jack could have gone back there and Young could have just sat in front, but he's not there at the moment. We tried Gomez there.
And Garner.
James Garner's there. James Garner's useless there because he's better further back. So this, to me, now coming into this month where we know we haven't got money, this is pivotal. They need to look and see who can we get on loan. He's not going to be like Decore, because there's probably not many Abdoulaye Decore's around. What he then has to be then is that person who plays off the strike. It has to be either someone who's clever on the ball and can just play a little through ball, or someone who can get shots away or something. There must be some squads in Europe who have got players who have got that little bit different.
We were kind of saying this yesterday. I mean, we were looking at the Wolves team yesterday. You know, we were going to hand it to Wolves. They played really well yesterday. They run us off the park. We helped them, but they run us off the park. Just run through our midfield on a regular basis. But I don't mean this disrespectfully, but half the players, I didn't know half those players were.
In Wolves'
team, and we both said that, so you don't even know half these players.
But they were quick, though. They have a burst of pace that we don't.
And they can play that system. They can play that system that, you know, they're set up to play. So I think the players are there. The players must be there. It's just about whether or not we can buy them right now.
Take an example. You just said about Harrison. I wouldn't have necessarily looked at Alisson and thought he will fit in our system. But I'm not his greatest fan. But 70% of the time we played and played well, he's had a role. He's done his share. He's earned it.
Yeah.
And I remember at West Ham, and we were winning the game, and I looked at the clock, and he used to take him off about 65 minutes. He'd swap him. Every game he'd take Alisson out. And I remember looking at the screen thinking, 85 fucking minutes, he's still on the park. Because West Ham tried to do that pushing out, sit on top of you. And what he did was he left him on and brought Committee on. And it was the only time he brought Committee on because he's fast. The kid's got pace, not very little else at this stage, but he's got. And so basically they had to drop back because he was saying, go ahead, sit on top of us. What we're going to do is Jimmy Garland's going to get it and throw it 10 yards over you. And now you're in a foot race with this kid who does 100 metres in 12 seconds. So they drop back. And Alisson was getting round the back, taking it to the corner, winning a free kick, couple of crosses, winning a corner, tick the clock down. The kid's done all right on that. I'll give him a tick mark in his box for it. There's got to be someone. We've got this whole structure, this whole scouting. He might not jump out the page at you, where you think, oh, we've got to. I said to you about Dewsbury Hall before. I would get that kid, pick him up, and carry him to this football club and install him in the midfield and say, crack on for 3 years.
No, it'd be superb.
Absolutely.
And we tried to get him in August.
But it won't be that type.
No.
But you might find someone who doesn't necessarily jump out, but who fits
Surely
the system.
Carlo's got someone sat on the bench in midfield and he'd do something.
We'll all ring Duncan later and get in there.
That's the thing, just alone.
We'll all do a group chat.
But you're right though, Dave, because it's the thing is that sometimes you're looking and you go, well, he's not like the Corey yet, but he'll put his foot on it, or he'll give us something else. Just because if we lose if the Corey comes back, we lose him again.
By the way, if Lampard had stayed a day and a half, the Corey would be playing for Fulham.
I know,
and then we would have really been fucked. By the way,
would have been sold, and a few others.
No, but particularly Corey, who's been intrinsic.
Oh, he's been tremendous.
To everything. That's how close it is. But what I'm saying
got 11 goals
is, one man looks at him and thinks,
coming, or 33
one man looks at him, a highly played Premier League manager looks at him and says he's a yard dog, ship him out. Someone else comes in and said, clear the works. I'm going to build the whole thing around him.
And that's what we're saying.
So for the loan market, there's got to be, that's what I'm saying.
Because it'll give him an extra weapon then, and also we can use the Corey.
We need it.
But just back to yesterday, them first 20 minutes, we defended all right. They'd had one breakaway where Onana done superb, to be fair, got back and went wangers. The goalie held them up and then Onana done brilliantly. And that was the warning for us of like, we need to be careful at these on the break. And they get a corner, and they got a corner because we should have defended it better.
It was bad,
But then the corner is cleared. And for once, we don't stop the cross. And that cross was going, I personally might be a bit harsh, and the keeper should do it.
So do I.
He just flaps at it when it hits him. But Kilman, who's got one goal in his career before yesterday against Everton, you know, reacts quicker than our player. I don't know what Tarkovsky was doing, sliding back at Pickford, because he slid back. And I like him, think he's sound. But I don't know how you can slide back and somehow scoop a ball away from him.
Where was he going?
Do you know what I mean?
He was sliding. What was he going to do with it?
I just don't know. But
But I thought he was grim yesterday.
Listen, he was poor yesterday. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was only Michelenko.
I thought only Michelenko.
I don't think anyone. We're not the races at all.
No, not at all. And we're 1-0 down. But then we did have a great opportunity 5 minutes after it. Dwight McNeil does. It's a good move, actually. Patterson on the right pings it in. And McNeil does well. Dom makes a great run that you want. And McNeil slides him in. He's got to finish it. I'm sorry. He's got to just...
got to go in the back of the net.
Just think it's 1-1. To me, it was reminiscent of that. It wasn't in the same position, or even... One was across the goal, one was straight at the goal. However, it was reminiscent in that he's got 1, 2, 3 steps to think about it, hit it, score. That's the elite level of it's your Ollie Watkins, the kid who plays for Bournemouth.
You know where the ball's going.
Salah's on a fucking different
but what would Salah have done?
Galaxy.
What would Salah have done?
Salah had to close his eyes, ran in and buried it twice. Harry Kane would have done that. But I'm saying, if you're the top, the next level down from that, it's 1, 2, 3 steps. You already know by the second step what you're going to do with it. You don't need to look at the keeper no more. It's now about position, timing, and contact. and that's in the
That
net.
goes in and it's 1-1.
Neither of those two
Different game,
chances,
different game, yeah.
neither of those two chances hit the goal.
No, that's the frustration.
That's the bit about
See,
it.
the one with Dom, it's almost like a cross, but the difference is because they scored their second goal with the same move.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Hwang does put it across because he can see the runner.
Yeah.
Dom's shooting.
No, because he knows there's no runner.
And what he has to do there is the goalkeeper leaves a big, if you look at it, and like, if Ned's not easy off today, we'd have the still on, but there's a huge bit of the goal at the near post from Jose Sarr where he could just smack it in near post, but Sarr's already fallen before Dom's got to the ball. So all Dom literally has to do is just clip it and it's a goal.
Yeah.
1-1.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. He hits it again like he did the other night with his heel.
He does.
It ends up going out for almost a throw-in. You know, goes and it's like they're the moments.
No, it's true.
And maybe if Dominic had scored 2 in his last 2, he'd have wrapped it in and it's 1-1. And then we grow then because it's like, well, we haven't started well, but we're back in it.
Yeah.
But at that moment in the ground was that like, because we had started poorly
Well,
and
it's
they were
game
on
on
top,
then,
did you
innit?
think, but when it missed it, you think, that's a big moment? Or were you still, was there still a belief we'd get back into
It was a bit, it was just a bit disappointing.
We couldn't get out of our own half.
We couldn't get out of our own half.
So
That was-
basically,
fair,
that was the first time we'd done it.
That was the chance, that was the opportunity to try
I'd
and
love
get
to
us back
see
in
the
the game.
stats. Our midfield did not pass forward maybe 5 times each in the whole game.
Yeah.
And the 3 of them were when Gomez come on, Gomez and Seamus Coleman. We started at least. The game was gone by then.
But we looked a lot more threatening when
We
they came
looked
on.
better. We looked a little bit more be able to absorb pressure and exert pressure. But in
They
the
looked a lot
first,
fresher.
once he missed that
And yet they
chance,
played well.
Calvert-Lewin,
Yeah.
I was saying to these, it was now 2-0. As you said, he broke it, now 2-0. If he waits till it's 3-0, you can bring him on the cavalry if he wants. You can bring 15. Some lad behind us said, I wonder if we could bring 3 subs and sneak 4. And the referee
Without
wouldn't,
knowing.
you know, like that,
Yeah.
wouldn't make a blind bit of difference today, boys. Wouldn't make a blind bit of difference. So what I'm saying is, that going back to your point about Calvert-Lewin, is he was isolated yesterday. It was a thankless task what he was asked to do all day. However, if you're going to be in our position 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20th in the Premier League, if you don't score at least a quarter of those chances, you're going to be in those positions when it comes to the knife fight.
No.
From Easter onwards, and that's when the panic starts. And every year we get to the end of it saying, never again, never again. We'll finish mid-table, happily finish mid-table, never again. Well, that's how you end up there, is by there. I'll also throw another one at you. I'm not calling him out, because I don't blame him for what he done. But the last 5 minutes at Tottenham last week, Dan Juma has 3 efforts at goal. I know he wants to score. If he slides one across, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's on a penalty spot, Beto's on the far post. End of story. Let's go home. That's and the kid tried to score every one of them because he wants to make a statement for himself. If I was on loan, I'd probably want to do it myself. But this is a team game, and this is those incidents. If we'd have walked out of there with a point of how we started in that game, having lost Garner Gay, Gomez was like a shot in the arm booster, what no one saw coming. That could have carried us on into the new year, into the cup tie, into we got a little break. The mindset aspect of it was massive, and he didn't. He tried to score, and we missed him. Well, that was on the back of Fulham, which is then leading on to the Wolves thing, where the tactics were wrong. We had one arm put up our back. But the missing your big chance in the first half, it was tantamount to surrender, to be honest with you.
It was when we we get into 90 minutes, and it was like he said there was 9 minutes added, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
And everyone around said we could be here all night and we could score. We could play for another hour.
99 minutes
We're not going to score
yeah.
because it just didn't look like we were going to score.
At half time, we're 1 down, nothing's really, although somehow Everton, Dwight McNeil got booked for being strangled.
It's ridiculous.
Again, which
ridiculous.
happened to Patterson the other week. And
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Try and do it next week and see how you get on.
Oh, we'd be said, it was us, it'd be that card, because there's definitely, and I hate like conspiracy things, but
They don't like us, like.
The more and more you see it is,
like
they're
it.
trying to make sure, they're trying to make a statement with us this season. You were at Spurs last week. I don't know whether you'd have noticed it in the ground, but obviously when you're watching it, you see everything. Onana, it's 100% penalty.
The same thing.
Same fella does the same thing at Brighton 3 days later. It's a penalty. And it's just the same, and it's like, hang on a second.
Well, I think it's that inconsistency with the official. The officiating of some of the games. I mean, we've seen it because you go to matches, you see it because you go to games all, you go to games all the time, and it's just that inconsistency across, which is really, as a football fan who's been going for many years, it's really disappointing that there's that level of incompetence and inconsistency in what is supposedly the best league in the world, isn't it?
The best height league in the world.
Yeah, it's the best height league in the world. That's correct.
Because I'll be sure that the other night with City.
Well, it did say supposedly.
Rodri slams Stingy about 10 minutes after the ball. Does nothing.
The handball last season by Rodri.
We do a thing. The same tackle. It's a book on a mean.
The handball by Rodri.
No.
Go to the Man United penalty they got the other week. It's there's no. I'll still take you back to one of the first ones we ever had. Michael Keane at Brighton. They had 5 minutes to look at it. Still gave the thing. It's 2 minutes to go. I'm like, I'm done. Keep it. Keep hold of it. I'm done with it.
It's
bad.
That was a big thing for her, I'll be honest. I thought because I stupidly thought they won't be able to be that blazing anymore. You know what I mean? It's almost not like they're doing. We'll just do it in plain sight.
Guess what?
It's not the technology, is it? It's
people in
It's the people.
It's like the
interpretation.
City fan the other night against us, right? The referee gives a corner.
Yeah.
The line's went 50 yards because 6 City players jump in front
I knew
of
it was a penalty.
Give a pen. No, in the ground, I thought it's a penalty. It's his hand. And the way they're reacting, it'll be a pen. But when the more I watch it, the less of a pen it is. Because if you're blocking a ball, you can't jump to block a ball like this.
The problem,
he's blocking his face.
No, I'm sorry, I've got to say that. Once you take the intentional stroke deliberate out of that rule book, everything's a penalty. So now that it's I agree with you. His body shape.
But that isn't the rule, though. If the rule, I've said for ages, and me and Pat disagree on this, right? But I've said for ages, the easiest way then is if it hits your hand in the box, it's a pen. Then we all know, and we all go, it's his hand's a pen. Doesn't matter whether he meant
so what
it,
is
right?
The rule?
Right? But the rule isn't that. The rule is it's deliberate handball. It's the rule. So as Onana,
that wasn't fucking deliberate handball.
Right? And you get the skeleton on Sky trying to hide behind because he was an awful referee for years, going, it's a modern day penalty. What the fuck does that mean? A modern day? No, mate, because it's a modern day penalty when Onana's strangled. It's a modern day penalty when we're dragged to the floor in the box.
Literally semantics. That's just nonsense.
You can't. How can you have a modern day penalty?
That's nonsense.
Did Onana go like this? Like Michael Keane's at Anfield, putting his hand out for the ball.
Isn't it?
100% penalty.
A deliberate handball used to be in that you were seeking an advantage. That's what the inference, the implication from that sentence was supposed to be, was that sotto voce, you were trying to, like Rodri last year, that case in point, he was attempting to seek an advantage. Well, Onana's body position, you do not seek to keep an advantage by doing that.
Look at the wall when they jump. The wall jump because that's what you're taught to protect your face.
You were years ago. You were, right?
The reason why handball was brought in, and I know rules change, of course they do, everything's changed. The reason why handball was brought in was to differentiate the goalkeeper from players. That's why it was brought in. So if you're a goal and you can catch it, but I can't knock it with my hand. If I do it, that's why it's brought in. They've messed with it. Now, you've got the situation where they're just looking and slowing everything down and going, right, that ball was going wherever. It was Nathan Ake, wasn't going in the goal. And he's given a penalty for this. If Onana had gone like that, I'd have gone to penalty.
That's fair enough.
That's a penalty. Michael Keane at Anfield, it's a penalty.
It goes like that, it's a penalty.
Right?
Absolutely.
But that is a block of I'm jumping. You can't jump through the air to block a ball like this. No player can put themselves in that position.
Well, if that's the case, what you need to do is every time there's a corner and someone leans on someone else, you've got to start giving them for that as well, because it's tantamount to the same thing.
But why didn't VAR look at the Tottenham thing when Onana's shirt getting dragged up? And the feed I'm watching, the commentators like, that's a penalty, isn't it?
It is a penalty,
VAR weren't interested. But they were interested at Brighton the other night. So, but anyway, that's a different thing.
That speaks to gerrymandering and an agenda, actually.
This is what I'm saying.
If you brought a person, a non-involved person, an independent person from a third nation in and said, no context. Tell me what you think that is there. Look at the first case, look at the second case. Give me your opinion on it. He'd say either both are a penalty or neither are a penalty.
I think maybe he should even during the matches stop calling it VAR, start calling it like the official and the person's name. You know, such and such is now going to look
Well,
at
I
it.
knew,
You know what I mean? 'Cause
knew.
it's not the technology, it's the people.
I
You know what
knew
I mean?
on the Friday when I seen who the VAR was, we'd have an issue with Spurs because Michael Oliver, who's got a full, he's a Geordie with a full agenda against Everton.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
but that's not good enough.
And that's what
that's not good enough. If you're going to introduce technology, it has to be to the benefit of the greater good of the actual game itself,
Well,
the
we didn't
wider
even
game.
talk about the Gomez thing, you know, the foul for Dominic Calvert-Lewin goal at Tottenham.
Yeah.
That goal might have set Dom on a different path.
Absolutely.
He scored, went on,
By the way,
smashed it past.
Yeah.
When you look at it in real time, there was no foul.
Yeah.
Because the linesman's looking at it and the referee's looking at it.
They let it go.
5 times in the game.
I seen, so again, I'm watching on the, so it shows you.
Well, all the players are protesting, aren't they?
So I said, I went,
Eli's
I'm
down
watching it with
in
my dad,
5
I went, that's a foul.
Did you think that?
Right,
I never.
no, do you know why? Do you know why? Because they slow it down and he taps him, right? But the reality is, that isn't context.
No.
If I go like that to Keith, that's not context.
No.
The referee seeing the context of it real time.
Yeah.
There's always comings together.
It's a physical
There's
game.
always
Physical game.
tackle.
Until it becomes netball and you can't actually touch anyone, you've got to be some sort of element of physical contact. That foul had gone on in that game 5 times. Garner Gay ended up going off. 5 times it had gone on in that game. But because we scored a goal from it, I'll say this, if they'd have scored a goal from it, it doesn't get given. It does not get given. So what I'm saying is, it's the inconsistency of it. It's literally, how I know in the ground is how long it takes. And as soon as he ran over to the thing, I looked at him and said,
like Dyche says, you never go over and change. They just go with what they're told, which is crazy.
Garbage.
But I must stress, that isn't the reason why we lost yesterday.
It's nothing to do with it.
The referee wasn't very good yesterday,
but it was not the reason. It's symptomatic in that we're scrapping for everything. And that was I thought them players were magnificent on the day. That's an easy ground to lie down and die at Tottenham. So was that one Wolves, to be fair. They used their stadium. And in a similar way to Forest, they've got an MO and they apply it, and it's been relatively successful for them under a various couple of managers now.
7 unbeaten now, bro.
Very good. So they're getting the maximum reward for the limited squad and system they've got.
Well, sure, yesterday at half time, were you expecting us to change the way? Because we got to half time. Neither team had really done much, to be fair, but David looked the better side and they were winning. I was expecting them to take Michael Keane off and go to a flat back four, to be honest.
That's what we were
maybe
thinking,
get Gomez on, try to get a bit of control.
The reason why
we both said, like get Gomez on and better. That's what we were saying. And maybe go 4-4-2. That's we were just saying.
What made me not do, though, is because at half time I said, all 7 subs are running up and down. So if they weren't, they'd be in there getting the tactics and start there. And I remember saying to him, no one's coming on here, so we're just starting again with it.
It's the same thing.
And we come out and it was the same.
It was exactly the same.
They were all over us. They get the second goal. Michael Keane's got to do better. He watches Schwang run off him and can't get near him. And Tarkowski and Patterson daily with Cunha in the middle should have seen him off. He was behind them too when that ball come across and he gets ahead of them. Really poor him with 2-0 down. And you know, we've lost every game.
Tarkowski, the one where he pushes out and tries to win the ball, and the kid just turns him and runs through. He's badly slow. So sometimes, stop that. Don't do that. It looks great if you do it, and we can break. But he couldn't pass a message to the same fella, by the way. So he's got to have someone around him who he can give the ball to try and go forward with it. And he commits to that thing, and they seen it coming. They literally saw it coming from the next postcode and just turned him and went,
this is one of the things we're going to have to address. Every time we've lost the first goal of the season, we've lost the game. No, we're sitting here on New Year's Eve. We've lost 50% of our games, and that's a lot from 20.
It is, It's too many.
It's poor. But we shoot ourselves in the foot. You know, we're 2-0 down, then that's the moment to change it.
See,
you know.
that
Well,
bit about...
I think we were lucky to be 2-0 down at that
No,
point.
we were. They
They could have,
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
and at
we
least
could have
one
come out.
disallowed, by the way.
Two goals disallowed, you know what I mean? We were
And then
lucky
the
to come
third
away.
goal's just as
3-0.
bad.
That
Ball.
bit about the drawing games, you walk out in a tunnel, but I was taught when I was a kid, you walk out in a tunnel, you've already got a point. So before you go and try and win the game, make sure you don't lose it.
Yeah.
That's how you get forward, and you build on that, and you go forward.
Teams just keep
We
adding them
don't.
points, don't they?
We are either
We're or
one.
the other
It's
at
a
the moment,
juxtaposition of either success or failure. There's got to be a middle ground. And if you look at the teams who invariably survive in this league, they get a lot of draws, particularly away from home at better teams, because they can scrap and find a way. Well, that's been his. I've been impressed by Dice. I did not want him anywhere near my football club. I'll say that with my hands up. But I have been impressed at the organisation, the fitness, and the system that, on paper, we have not got the best squad at all.
No. We've got about 13 players, haven't we?
Very thin. So I've been impressed to say he's got a lot out of them.
Yeah.
But I also thought, at Burnley, that was kind of his methodology. Was the getting a point thing and the digging yourself out of an old thing. That was, I weren't watching Burnley very closely, I have to say that. No. But I assumed from the general chatter around him, that was kind of, because he wasn't ripping up trees, he wasn't going away winning 3s and 4s. So with the hard yards, what got him recognition to be classed with jobs like ours. So I thought that was a given, I thought that came with it.
Yesterday then? Was it just a case of no Ashley Young, no Garner Gay, no Abdoulaye Doucouré,
and a bad day at the office,
and also tired? Like maybe we would have played Wolves in a game where we've had one game a week away, and
when we
might have been
Forest,
closer. Like that kind of thing.
It's also coming on the back of, like, you know, if you kind of look at, you know, if you think about the Spurs and the City games, you know, we put a shift in both them games. They put a shift in the other players, and it's the same players going out. There's no kind of relief form. There's a lot of games that are very close together over Christmas.
Should he yesterday then just gone? Right, well, Jack Harrison, you're not. We've seen today Dwight McNeil's partners put something on. He's obviously been ill.
He's ill.
And you don't know what these players are doing. Dwight McNeil hasn't looked the same the last few games. And no bleeding wonder.
Yeah, absolutely.
So should the manager maybe have just gone yesterday, right, I'm starting with Arnott Danjuma, I'm starting with...
Maybe,
Had it gone with Dobbin?
But, you know what I mean? And just gone, right, this is what we're doing, because these lads are caned. And what we'll do is, Dwight McNeil after 50 minutes, whoever after 50 minutes, you know, whether it's Dom or Jack Harrison, whoever, at 50 will throw these on for some fresh legs. Lads, go and do what you said before. Get out there, sit, make it difficult for these to play. Just grind out the first half. Let's get the feel, as he likes to call it, the feel of it. Let's get in at half time level, or if we get a chance, try and take it, obviously, but nothing silly, and then freshen it. He's gone with the same lads you're asking who've played. Like you mentioned, we've got Tarkovsky every minute of every game. Jared Brantwaite, a young lad. This is the most Premier League games he's ever played this season. Most James Garner's ever played in the season, Premier League-wise. Onana's still young, blah, blah, blah. And Nathan Patterson. All right, I'm not saying Coleman should have started, but maybe rather than rip the formation up, gone, no, we'll freshen the team up. Because, because we are... This was always going to be a heavy month, December, and we've said on the channel, coming into it, do well to get 8 or 9 points this month. We've got 12. Okay, the last 3 have been horrible. But you're right, we could have got, you know, Dan Zuma's and Mitchie's cock away from getting us a point at Spurs. Isn't he? It hits the goalie on it.
He's unlucky on 2 of them. If he lifts his head up on the other one,
Dom equalises against City. Who knows, with 15 minutes left, who knows?
Because they weren't... Until they scored, they weren't very impressive. And Foden's mustard. He can always do that.
No one knew where Ali was playing.
He can always do that, always do that.
And then yesterday, if Dom levels it up at 1-1, who knows?
Maybe.
But we haven't. We've been on the wrong side.
Also, to that is another point. Gomez has been like a free hit.
Yeah.
No one expected him to play for Everton again. He came on at Tottenham, looked like the player from 3 years ago.
He was.
Even yesterday, and Man City as well, he wasn't bad midweek, the little 20 minutes or whatever it was. And yesterday, he looked our most effective midfielder. So we got that for nothing. No one, that just literally dropped in your lap. That wasn't in the plan. So I think that's symptomatic to the fact that I'm going to go to Palace next week, but I think he might do. And he's not the type to do that. He would normally play his best side. We've got a week off next week.
That's why I think he will play his best team.
I think he might just say, I might do what you said, and I might give Lewis Dobbin and Dan Jumi. He did it at Aston Villa in the other cup game for the first half, and then rolled the subs on with your better players to get you over the line. Because otherwise, if one of them is, it's like an elastic band, you can stretch it so far, but it might break. And we've already got Ghana Gay going to the African nations. And if one of those spine players does get hurt, we're now in trouble for Aston Villa at home.
We haven't even got
Fulham away and whatever else.
What would you do with Decore? Because obviously, I know they're going day by day, and I know he was close on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'd
give him half an hour at Palace.
I was going to say, would you just leave him for Villa and go, no, because I know by the time Villa rock up, you're ready to go.
Maybe, but I think him himself, it's been a little few weeks now. I think, I do believe
just
you'll see you want to win. If you can possibly win, you want to win. But it's more important that we don't start losing league games, because the problem with right now, is the other teams are starting to win games where they weren't.
Well, we're in a fight with Luton now at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, not just Luton.
That's what it is.
Nottingham Forest too as well.
No, well, they're fucked.
No, we'll catch them.
Yeah, no, what I mean is right now, for me, the way I'm looking at it in my mind is it's us and Luton.
Oh, yeah.
Burnley and Sheffield United are gone. They're gone. Burnley and Sheffield United are gone.
I think that...
But I think Luton, even though I still think teams will beat them, you've got to match them physically.
And you've got a decent winger and a decent centre forward, and Barkley's even
Barkley's
playing.
been tremendous.
I think Townsend's more important for them than Barkley, to be honest with you.
I keep saying
because he was always decent everywhere he's been. He's a grafter, and he puts the shit, and he's got a little goal in him now and again. But I still think we're better than them.
No, we are.
Truly.
We have to fight like
However, back to your point, is that we absolutely want to win a trophy if we can possibly do it. But the first thing is, don't set fire to the house. We're going down here, and we've got to be in this league no matter what happens. We have got to be in this league. So I think that's going to be his focus, his primary focus. So I think he might give, as long as Ducati says it's fine, but I need a little 30 minutes in my legs. I think he will give him half an hour at Villa, like he at Crystal Palace, like he did at Villa in the League Cup game. And brought him on last 20. I think there might be that, and then start against Aston Villa. Because if we don't beat Palace, we've got another week off in the interim before we go to Fulham, I believe, as well. Yeah,
we've only got one home game in January.
Yeah,
Villa. You've got Villa on the 14th, Fulham on the 30th.
Yeah, and there's a break anyway, and then there's an FA Cup game. So we might do that. And I would also, if you're going to have Dan Juma in the squad, he did play him at Doncaster, and he did play him at Villa as well in the away cup sides. He needs to play or he might not start him, but he needs to have a decent shout at Crystal Palace. Otherwise, there's no point in him being there.
Well, let's talk. He's gonna go back, isn't there? So
I didn't think you were able to do that halfway through.
Oh, you can cancel it if they're both open to it.
Okay.
But then that'll free up wages and a bit of money.
Yeah,
maybe get someone else.
Dobbin, I think you might see Dobbin, and. He has done this in the other games. It was Patterson the first time, because he was playing Ashley Young all the time, and he brought Patterson in. I think you might see the opposite of that.
Yeah,
I think Ashley Young will come back in if he's fit. But
I reckon he might be back till Villa. But Seamus has only just come on yesterday.
He looked. I wish he was 25. God loves. I wish he was 25. But he looked. His touch looked a bit off yesterday, where he was having to have two. Normally,
he hasn't played since Newcastle.
That's why. But. He would have been magnificent to have, like the way you've used Young this season. If it had been Coleman who was fit, I'd have fancied us at Anfield to walk out of there with a point, to be perfect. He wouldn't have got sent off with the other fella.
No. It's clever,
and
isn't it?
Mykolenko dealt with Salah as good as I've seen any Everton player deal
Well,
with
he's
him.
been, like you've said, he's
been
the player of the
fantastic.
season,
Yeah, he's
hasn't
been
he?
great.
So I
Fantastic player
think
of the season.
at them, those breaks and the minimal amount of games, whereas this has been like a cram concertina effect of the previous month, I think that will help us, that will assist us. And the Calvert-Lewin thing about, listen, let's work on calmness.
Yeah.
The last 3 steps before you address anything within the penalty box, let's just review that.
Yeah.
And let's spend a week, 10 days, a fortnight.
Finishing.
Let's just nail that down. Both of them, in fact, him and Beto.
Yeah.
Let's nail that down.
Because
And
let's be honest, we need him on a run day.
And
Phil.
let's work on a little spin the coin. And let's have every day or every other day, let's have 20 minutes at the end of each session where the two of you are playing together. And let's just see if we can spark something.
Yeah.
Let's just... Remember when Inchi got it in 85 and he looked at Andy Gray and Sharpie and said, that's never going to work because they both want to play the same position, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, look at us now. 15, Inchi doesn't play until the autumn and we romp everything because you can actually do it if you put the work in. I ain't saying that these are in that level. They are definitely not at that level.
Yeah, but he done it with Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes.
Exactly, precisely.
And they worked.
Precisely. So I think that if it was me and I was in charge, which I am obviously patently not, but if it was, that's what I'd be looking at because it gives us something like what you said before about the other crowd, where they've literally got that many strikers. They can play 3 and just adapt something at the end of it. And we haven't got that. Once we bring our first 2 subs on, we basically know what that's it. So we need a little bit je ne sais quoi thing, a little soups on of something else. You know what I mean? Like a little left field thing.
No, we do.
I'm injecting too much culture in here.
But that's
It's my own fault. It's my own fault.
Keith, is it important to remember even, it's obviously Everton do like to fuck Christmas up, let's be honest. They do it regularly.
We've been only saying this on the contest, guys.
They get to Christmas and go, we're going to ruin a bit for you because we're going to lose games. But is it important to remember we've won 8 Premier League games this season, going into the second half of the season?
I think it's important to remember that we've all witnessed this team can play.
And without the points deduction,
without the point deduction, we wouldn't be having the types of conversations we're having now. So the points deduction has made had a significant impact on it. And I'm sure it's probably in the players' minds as well. But the last kind of 2 months we've been playing some great football. Within the constraints that we've got. And we've won. We've been better away from home than we've been at home. But they have been performing. Hopefully we just hit a bit of a rut. And the break that's coming up may give us the chance to get our first 13 back clicking again 100% because we don't have what the cities have got and what Liverpool have got and what
don't even have what Forest have got.
Forest have got where they've got 3 or 4 players for every position. In some places these teams are world class. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. Apart from Forest, maybe. But Forest, they just turned it round again themselves.
But it gives you options.
But it gives them options and options that we don't have.
Change.
And it's happened though over the last couple of seasons, hasn't it? We've always we said that last season that we haven't got much past our first 11.
No.
We've been saying that for the last couple of seasons, and we really haven't. And I think it's that type of thing that the club needs to approach. Really, it's like what do we have to bring in if Toffee does get injured, or if McNeil gets injured, or who have we got to kind of bring in?
The goalkeeper.
Scary one, isn't it?
The goalkeeper.
And that's, I think that's it. So I think hopefully get through Thursday, get a win out of it. And look to to use the break that's coming up to refresh the players.
I think as well with the maximum use of your own assets. And therefore, like I said about the Beto thing, but also if you're going to keep Danjuma, find a role for Danjuma. Don't just have. We've had the loans Everton have used in the last, even before Ancelotti got here. It's honest to God. And we fire too many people at this football club. There's too many comes and goes. You literally should lose your job for bringing people in on loan who literally do as much as us three here. You have got as much, and you're taking bit money from a club what's just been penalised for overspending. It's counterintuitive, is what it is. It makes zero sense. In fact, it makes opposite of that sense, the complete opposite of sense, the inverse of sense. So that, if you're going to have him, find a role for him. If there isn't a role for him, adapt your system so you can bring him on where he can make a floating role, maybe. If he can't play a 10, play a body in midfield and look to go behind Ducouré. If Ducouré goes at the second, let him go as the third. And just roll your sleeves up and throw a few tackles in. You've got a bit of pace. At least get every last drop out of that bottle. Do you see what I'm saying to you? That's what I'd say to them. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And he just said, maybe they've hit a bit of a wall. That will happen in a marathon.
Yeah, it does.
You've got to get your head right, know when that happens, and go to your reserves of strength and of commitment and desire and mindset. And that is going to be crucial because, honest to God, if you thought last season's relegation battle was bad and the one before that, this ground on the horizon brings a whole new level of jeopardy. What the other teams in this struggle have not got that sword of Damocles hanging over their head. It's only us. So that brings an added pressure. So you need to see that coming and have some sort of wherewithal, some sort of plan in place that if the roof does fall in, we're going to do this. And it speaks to the players that he's got a plan. It is bad, but he's thought about it. We're not just getting here and trying to figure it out on the hoof. And it looks like you're clueless. And that's when you lose the dressing room. It's got to be, we go into this new year with clear ambition, certainly, definitely ambition, but also a pragmatism, an element of, okay, it could work out this way. If we get to, I looked at our fixtures through March and April, and there's 4 or 5 winnable games, but we might be in the bottom 3 by then. So if we are, I don't want to be, but we may be, because look where we are now. And we might get points back as well. That's another thing we haven't discussed. That might also happen. But you've got to have it in your locker to say, if it gets to a knife fight, well, we're ready. We've already got this. And what we'll do is we'll tinker with this. We'll go 3 up front for the last 20 minutes. And losing a game is losing a game. You may as well lose a 3-0 or 2-0. So them goal differences of all the teams, Forest and the teams below us, and Bournemouth, are not going to touch us. They're not going to score enough goals. So write that off. So you may as well lose 4 as lose 2-0. Give it everything. Throw an extra striker on and go 3 at the back, but actually one of your fullbacks is a winger now. Do you see what I'm saying? If you had to take Alex, I don't know, I'm thinking outside, I'm just thinking on my feet. But I would have it, and I would have 3, 4, maybe even 5 of those up my sleeve to say, because teams who we're playing will say, these are terrified. They've got that new ground, they've lost points, they've gone back towards the pack. Well, you need to be able to take it back to them, put it back on the toes.
There's 18 games to go. We've won 8 already. If we win another 8, we're safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I know that's don't get me wrong, that's a big ask when you're where you are. But we have to, like I just said, we'd be 11th if it wasn't for that, and we'd be looking going, we'll win 8 in the second half of the season, why wouldn't we? It's the same team, it's just
not necessarily, because if you added 3 or 4 of those draws we've just been talking about, you wouldn't need to actually win 8.
No.
You'd need to win 6, 5 or 6 of them. And that's estimably far more doable, to be honest. So it's incremental progress. It's we all are committed to this.
If Everton won 7 games and lost all the rest, right, which would be crazy, but if they did, we'd have 37 points.
I think that'll serve us.
I don't believe in any universe Luton are getting 37.
I don't think.
I really don't.
Any of those 3 teams.
Burnley and Sheffield United, nowhere near it. Right. So therefore, that's what we have to look at. We've got to go 18 games, 7 wins.
At least.
That's what we have to do. We can easily win 7 games. We've got Sheffield United at home. We've got Burnley at home. Luton away will be tough, but so what in the bottom 3?
Still win that game.
You know, there's those kind of teams.
Bournemouth away.
Fulham away, we should be going to look. We owe them.
Absolutely.
Bournemouth away, it'll be a tough one, but it's a win. You know, there's a lot of teams like the way up.
If we'd
Crystal
played
Palace
Fulham
at home. them kind of
We
teams.
could beat them too. If we'd
Forest
played
at home.
Fulham a month earlier, we'd have dispatched them out of that
2
League Cup
weeks,
by
we'd have
2
battered them.
goals.
2 weeks
we'd
earlier,
have dispatched them. The problem was the availability on the night. He went long ball, and we hadn't been going long ball. He adapted it. I kind of understand it. I've got over it now. I had a cob on at the time. I've let it go because it's the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And the actual, like I said before, to me, not everyone will agree. Please don't be getting on the comments about it. But to me, everything is about that ground and the retention of a Premier League place. Because all these kids, well, everyone says we want them to win some. You really don't. If you think these party about us not winning the trophy, wait till you see what happens if you go down and that ground's there. It'll be like the Jubilee and New Year's Eve, and we're on New Year's Eve all at the same time. We've got to remove that from the equation, as hard as that is to say, by the way, and I don't enjoy saying it, but that's got to be the first priority. So let's do that. And then from then, new owners, whoever they may be, and then you can sell the dream, you can sell it to young'uns, you can sell it. And that's the positive, it's minimal positivity, by the way, and it's not nice to having to say that again, I repeat myself, but it's better than the alternative. And the alternative is literally the bitter end. So let's not even entertain that thought and get the maximum out of the squad, the maximum out of the coaching team. Them upstairs have got to start shaking a leg.
Yeah.
What you said before about the low market, horses for courses, square pegs for square
No
holes.
El Ghazis,
None
people
of,
who are going to
not
be
El
involved.
Ghazi.
There's no point, is there?
Definitely not El Ghazi. But just cuckoo left field choices. Again, Dan Juma, if you're going to keep him, and I don't mind keeping him, find something for him to do. Find a role for him to do. Find to be useful. But the next one has got to be fit for purpose. Even if it's in a single system, if you can only play 4-3-5-1 or whatever it is, if you can only do that,
we might have a chance with that pair of players.
56 players. But I'm saying to you,
I know what you mean.
he's got to be ready
To
fit in on a given day and not just say, oh, well, we'll give him 5, because he won't have the 5 games for him to be able to get up to speed. So, yeah.
Let's leave it there. Let's have a look at the stats, though, because we were talking about Wolves Everton. So here's the stats from the game. Wolves 3, Everton 0. 12 shots to 10 for Wolves. 6 on target for Wolves, none for Everton. 3 big chances for Wolves, 0 for Everton. And the problem was we had too much possession. We don't like possession. Our sweet spot's like 30, between 36 and 40% is our win spot.
That's a misnomer, though. Shots, 10. Shots on target, none. If I went home when I was a kid and said to me, Dad, how many shots you have today? 10. How many were on target? None. So he'd say, so you had none. That's what he'd say. You know, the goals means the target.
The best move of the match was the one where Dwight McNeil smashes the post from 25 yards.
That was on target, isn't it?
That goes, it's not counted
It's kind
as
of
on target,
target, no, it's a frame.
I know it is mad. But, you know, that couple of inches and it would have been one of the... You know,
well, he can do that for us. That's what often...
Well, I mean, it's also kind of what we were saying in the ground yesterday and what we've discussed today as well. You know, there's only 2 between 10 and, you know, obviously, you know your maths, it's 10 and 2 different types of shots, but they get like, you know, 5 goals really out of it, but 2 disallowed.
They did.
And we got none, so the finishing was completely off yesterday.
Just thank God.
The stats.
Thank God that
you know?
fourth goal was disallowed, the one where Pickford just passed it.
5 minutes later, I screamed, you fucking shite 4-0 down. He knocked me and said, it was disallowed.
He did.
I swear it.
He was looking
I was fuming.
He was pontificating.
I was still fuming.
He was still shouting.
I was
like,
screaming. He knocked me and said, no,
it's 3-0.
It's over.
It's
like
over.
that. Mea culpa.
Let's leave it there. Listen, big thanks to Dave and Keith.
I need to just say one thing.
Hang on. The big news, go on.
Big news,
Go on, mate.
We've got a single out in February the 1st. It's called Let the Music. It's out on the back of the single that we released in September, which got a Radio 2 playlist, which did really, really well. So if you're into our music or if you want to hear what we like, by all means check out our new record. Apparently it's really good.
It is really good.
There we go. The farm, the farm that is. South February.
the farm.
The farm.
I'd like to say hiya to my granddaughter in Australia. Coco Jean, love you, baby.
And Happy New Year.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Happy
All
New
the
Year.
best,
Listen,
Toffies.
Happy New Year,
let's
everyone.
hope 24 brings us a much happier and calmer year than what we've had in 2023,
Amen
which
to
didn't
that.
begin great.
Absolutely.
With that 4-1 home defeat by Brighton, and it ended with a 3-0 defeat at Wolves. So the bookends of the year weren't great, but it is hoping 2024 is much better. And Premier League, give us our points back. You know?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it right now.
Do it
Give
now.
us, let
Do
us
it now,
sleep
yeah.
a little bit easier. Thanks for watching. See you all later.
I was on your face,